afternoon, everyone. Today's Tuesday, January 4th, 2022, and I hope you have a great new year. And we're here for a town board meeting, and we're also here for CDA meetings. As always, we're going to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. And Tim, can you please take the lead?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Tim. Frank, do we have someone from the faith community
We
with us?
do. One of our favorites, the Reverend Mary Cooper from the House of Praise is here with us today. Thank you so much, Reverend, for being with us.
First, I'd like to say happy Thanksgiving. No, I'm sorry. Happy New
Not
Year's
yet.
to everybody. And also, I just want to share with you a word that we received from the Lord from the House of Praise. He said, in 2022, greater works will you do. So that's what we expect from you. Amen.
Good. I like that.
Let us pray. Father, we just want to thank you for this beautiful day that you have made for us to rejoice and be exceedingly glad. We ask, oh God, that you give wisdom and understanding to our council people, oh God, and to our supervisor, that they may see, they may understand, that they may feel what the community feels, and that we may have a greater time together. And also we can see that we are moving forward, and the works that they do will be great, and we will be able to applaud them. We thank you for this time that we come to share, oh God. We ask you to bless all the families that are here, and we thank you for bringing us to this new year in our health and strength. We give you praise, glory, and honor. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Thank you, Reverend.
Okay, to those of you who don't know or do know our newest councilman, let me introduce you to Robert Kern, former president of the Chamber of Commerce, and we look forward. He worked very hard. He jumped into meeting the community outside of the business community, and we hoping to have very cohesive, not very lengthy, drawn-out meetings with information, with transparency, and engaging the public. And Councilman, congratulations and welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Welcome,
Welcome,
Bob. Yep.
Bob.
Welcome, Bob.
Okay, before we begin our regular meeting today, I am pleased to begin this afternoon by honoring the life of longtime Riverhead resident Eddie Partridge. I am pleased to welcome his wife Connie and his nephew Tom Gatz, along with other family members who are here with us today. And also, I understand he also has friends here. It would have been his 69th birthday today, and that's why we, the family and us, and we at Town Hall decided that this might be an appropriate day to look and see and memorialize his past, what he's done. His whole family's always had a lifelong commitment to the sport of racing, and he's provided countless contributions to the Riverhead racing community. And on behalf of myself, together with the entire town board, we would like to present the family with a proclamation.
Come on up.
Yep, why don't we, I was gonna read it, but okay, that's fine. I think there was enough words. Sign it. Huh? Anybody else?
They want to see me. Where you want me over there?
It doesn't matter, wherever you fit,
Okay, I fit.
and you can have the family come out. I think so. Maybe this picture. And Tom, can you give Devin the email, and we can send the pictures to you, we can send it to you, okay?
Smile with your eyes.
to just say Eddie was an incredible, impressive man, and he passed away way too soon. But if he had to decide how it was going to be, it would have been the night after a win. That's what he had that night. So
No
God
doubt
bless him.
about it.
Yeah.
No doubt.
But
Godspeed, racing to heaven. Yes. Thank
Great
you.
man,
Let's
great family.
continue this
so.
tradition of racing in Riverhead.
Yes.
Let's keep it going in his name.
Yes.
Absolutely will.
Okay, we have just one announcement today regarding COVID-19. As of Thursday, January 6th, the town board meetings and work sessions are going to be held through Zoom. The public has the option of Zooming in. The credentials will be on our website, and you can also watch the meetings live through Channel 22, and thereafter they're posted and can be watched at any time. I encourage everyone to remain vigilant regarding COVID-19 and exercise the 3 Ws. Wash your hands, wear your mask, watch your distance, and if you can, please try to get vaccinated. However, I do not believe in vaccine mandates. There's been some questions as to where we say limited appearances at Town Hall, and I'm hoping to clear the air in this regard. We're returning to Zoom. However, if somebody finds a dire need to come, they need to be at Town Hall, by all means, call the office and let us know that you'll be in attendance. We want to try to continue as much social distancing as we can. However, the preferred method would be virtually through Zoom, and I hope that that clears any misunderstanding that people have. During work sessions, we will be having presenters as we did before. We weren't fully closed. If somebody wanted to show up, and especially during work sessions throughout the last 2 years, we had people come in and present, and that's not going to change in that respect. However, we're going to limit attendance. Can I have a first and a second to approve the minutes for the December 21st, 2020 Town Board meeting, please?
Motion?
Second.
Okay. Diane?
Certainly. Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes.
The minutes are approved.
Diane, do we have any communications?
Certainly. Under correspondence, there was a letter from Sean Fontana, and he was expressing his concerns at the intersection at the traffic light of Wading River Manor Road and Middle Country Road. John McCall have sent a letter regarding HK Ventures. And I had 6 letters speaking of the excessive noise levels at Jamesport venues affecting local residents in the Jamesport community. And that would be Richard Wines, Abram Fisher, Kathleen Courtney, William Concanon, William and Catherine Welsh, Ann and Thomas Kowalsik. And then under reports, the building department submitted their December monthly report, $54,401. Tax receiver, total tax collection to date as of December 29th was $22,753.63.09. And that's all I have.
Great, thank you, Diane. All right, we have a public hearing scheduled today for 2:05. It is now 2:15, and we're going to open up the public hearing regarding Chapter 301-251, zoning and land development. And Jeff, can you please come up to the podium and introduce the topic?
Good afternoon,
Good
everybody.
afternoon,
Happy
Jeff.
New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
So, if you've ever driven by the Conic Bay Medical Center on Route 58, you will notice that there are public service announcement banners on the buildings. What this law attempts to do is to allow our larger community healthcare providers with the ability to communicate with the public on the local and latest medical information to our local community. And by this, we are allowing banners along Route 58. And this law was drafted and created to provide that service on a very, very limited basis. We do not want to see a plethora of banners communicating or advertising along Route 58 in the town. In this regard, we are amending Section 105-13 of the Town Code and 301-251 of the Town Code to allow banners in a very, very limited manner. Banners will only be allowed in 2 zoning districts, our hospital zoning district and the shopping center zoning use district, involving only hospitals and healthcare networks, including healthcare providers with an integrated healthcare network, not-for-profit healthcare providers, and individual physicians and medical offices or complexes not affiliated with a healthcare network will not be allowed to have banners. Banners won't be allowed at one hospital building or healthcare provider building. For example, Peconic Bay Medical Center has at least 2 buildings along Route 58. They will only be allowed to have it at one location. They're allowed to have a maximum of 2 signage along the building face, a maximum of 3% of that wall space per sign, and that's basically what you see today on Route 58. Sign permits are only good for 3 months. We don't want to see them up longer than that. They have a way of fraying, becoming faded. We want them to be up-to-date information. We want them to be well cared for, well maintained. There'll be an annual $300 permit fee. We are not going to allow any phone numbers, emails, or websites to be displayed. We don't want people trying to drive by and write down information as they're driving. No advertising will be allowed. Only public service announcements will be permitted. Lighting of the banners will be prohibited. And we do not want to see any tree clearing so that people can see the banners. Whatever trees exist out there today, they're going to stay. So again, we try to allow for this additional increased form of communication with the public, but on a very limited basis. And that's it. And this went through Code Committee, and we presented it at the work session on December 2nd.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff. Do any members of the community want to be heard on this matter? Do I see a hand out? Oh, that's just, it has to be related to the banners.
It is.
Oh, okay, good. You always come up for one other thing.
Quinn Mack, Clearview
Okay.
Civic Association.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. I just want to know, does it apply to political signs also, like the real big political signs? It doesn't apply to that?
It should, but it doesn't.
Is there any way you can ratify it or change it or something?
No, that would have to be something you would actually have to have the Republican Party and the Democratic Party both agree not to use political signs. I hate political signs.
I do too, especially the real big ones.
Oh, any of them. They're just eye pollution. I can't stand them. And if I had my way, there wouldn't be any at all. But you would have to have those agreements between both parties, and that will never
So
happen.
that doesn't have to go through this thing that he just said?
No, because they get sign permits for those.
Oh,
And those
okay.
sign permits are allowed each campaign season. They file an application and get a sign permit.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Okay, Gwen.
I agree though, Gwen.
Okay. Anyone else from the public want to be heard on this? No. Any town board members want to be heard on this matter?
No, I think it's the way Jeff and it was worked on with code revision, it tastefully done, so it will look nice, and it does look nice, what Peconic Bay has done, and I believe it's New York Cancer or New York Blood. They both look nice. They're not overbearing. They send the message that they're intended to do, and it's not frivolous flags flopping in the wind like you see at some of these little, delis or pizza shops or something. That's not what we want. We want something that's going to be attractive and serve a message, and that's what this code does.
Yeah, I think Andy and Amy
Amy.
did a great job of explaining exactly what the purpose would be, and that it would be great information, informative to the community around them. And I think it's, like you said, it's done tastefully, so I think it works nicely.
Yep.
Okay, great. Anyone else want to be heard on this matter? If not, we're going to close this public portion section of this hearing to now is 2:22. We're going to leave it open for written comment until 4:30 PM on January 14, 2022 at the town clerk's office. The meeting now is closed. The public hearing is closed. And now we're going to move on to public comments on the resolutions before us today. We have many resolutions, and do we have anyone from the audience that want to speak on the resolutions presented before us today?
Just a reminder, for anybody that wants to make any comments, will need their name and their hamlet, and they'll have 5 minutes to make any of their comments or ask any of their questions on the resolutions before the board today, and of course, the board may or may not respond. And if they do, that does not stop the clock on the 5 minutes.
Okay, do we have? Good afternoon,
Good afternoon and Happy New Year.
likewise.
John McAuliffe from Roanoke Landing. I want to comment on the resolutions that have to do with the salary increases, and it's more questions than comments, because it wasn't clear in the article in the local today. One is, in your evaluation of these increases, do you do the sort of human resources comparison of similar jobs in the rest of the East End towns, and how do these, both the existing and the proposed new salaries, compare with the other East End towns? That's just a basic human resources common practice. The second question is, how much is this increase dependent upon a budget that received subsidy this year, I think both federal and state subsidy because of COVID? Presumably, if that's what's made it possible, then we have to obviously absorb these continuing salary increases in the future, and I just wondered how that budgeting worked. The final question is Mr. Rothier was quoted as characterizing one of the motives of the increases being the cost of living increases, which obviously we're all facing. I don't understand enough about the rest of the town workforce and its salary determination or pay determinations. But it would seem to me in principle that if this kind of increase is going to the higher paid level people, that it ought to also go to all of the rest of the town employees, or the money should be divided up equitably among all of the town employees. Our lower paid staff, everybody's affected by inflation, but lower paid people are more dramatically affected because they simply don't have the cushion in their family budgets that upper level salaries do provide. So those are really just questions about it, if you could provide now or if you actually discussed those resolutions. Thank you.
John, it's kind of a double-edged sword. When you're talking about department heads and the higher paid people getting raises, we are constantly at battle with the private sector and stealing people from our positions because they can offer more. So we try as best we can to make our positions, our department head positions, as equitable as we can in order to retain their services. Because when one leaves, we've found over and over again, to get a new one in, you end up paying more for the new one than what you have already. And we've got some very qualified department heads. I'm very proud of them. And also keep in mind that their raises, that they're not part of the union, so nobody negotiates for them and gives them automatic raises like the union does. The other workers are part of the union, and the union negotiates for them. So they get their raises every year. There are times when many of our department heads go 3, 4, sometimes even longer years without any increase at all. So sometimes we have to play catch-up a little bit, and it looks like, my God, you're giving out so much money, but in the big picture, we're not. Those raises, I think, that were mentioned in the article, like $63,000 out of a $58 million budget. So it's really not as bad as it seemed to be portrayed by the headline. I don't know any better way to explain it to you.
Do you have comparisons of South Hole,
Yes,
Southampton?
We're lower usually.
We're middle of the pack at best. In some, we're usually on the lower end of most. And that's where, and especially our water department, we've got guys that could go walk away today and make a lot more money in the private sector than they're making here with us.
I'd like to add that there was not a raise that we all deliberated over that was not deserved, in my opinion.
Right.
And that being said, I want to say that a number of times, probably more often than not, the people in those positions were saving the taxpayers' money because of all of the added responsibility that they were taking on throughout the last few years, especially with COVID in the last year. But to sub out some of these functions would have cost the taxpayers so much more. So it was actually a savings if you looked at it from that perspective. And there's one that is a glaring example, and that's Drew Dillingham. For the next 10 years, he's going to be in charge of the recycling edict of New York State DEC, and he's going to take on the responsibility of making sure that he has it documented and that the town is doing what we're supposed to be doing through the DEC mandate. And if we had to sub that out to another person or another body, it would have cost us probably 4 or 5 times as much. So in a lot of these instances, it actually wound up saving us money, the taxpayers. Thank you.
And John, I beg to differ. As the chief financial officer of the town of Riverhead, in charge of the budget, we did not use 1 penny from the, any funding that we received for COVID. And I know that that's a rumor out there, and obviously you said you read it in the newspaper, so you believe everything you read, and it's not the case. And I take offense that I worked so hard. I worked with Councilman Hubbard religiously on this budget, every department with our financial advisor. We combined certain activities. We had the support of our employees. And for you to say that our budget, because it was the first time in 21 years that we never saw an increase, we actually had a small increase, and now, the people are under the opinion that this was because we got substantial state and federal relief. You could not use that funds. You cannot use those funds for a budget. Okay, and it's been made very, very clear, the money is not given to the town to disperse as they want. Okay, we had lines, delineated lines of how we could spend it on water infrastructure, on give it back to the community. And we followed every step, PPEs, just like the aquarium, they spent, I believe it was like $65,000 in PPE, so we gave them maybe half of what they spent. That's an anchor on our Main Street. We need these people. At one point, I know they were ready to take the animals out of there, and that we're going to lose our anchor in the middle of COVID. And I spoke to Balone and Steve DeLuca, and we met at the ice cream store, and the next day we were able to get it open. So we're working hard, and the community is supporting us, our employees are supporting us, and I don't want to hear anymore that our budget was lowered and we didn't have an increase because we used COVID money to advance those perceptions. And Anne Marie, you were part of these discussions. As the attorney, she was part of I had I had Dawn, I had Anne Marie, and I had our financial advisor work on this. The government doesn't give you money and say, take and do what you want to do and give it to employees and give all these substantial pay raises. Everything has to be accounted for. It has to be proven also. Did you want to add, Anne Marie?
Yes, you may recall, Mr. McAuliffe, that at an open work session, the financial administrator, CDA Director Thomas, and myself actually presented a written report to the town board. And there were actually questions and inquiries even related to, quote, the ability to use the money for salaries. And we made it abundantly clear then, and the town board acknowledged and accepted, those funds could not be used for that. The identification of how those funds would be spent was actually identified in the written report and presented in the open forum. And, you know, it's a not too lengthy document, but I don't want to misquote, but there were a designation of categories. One included water infrastructure, an above-ground storage tank. Another one was funding for the parallel-abled, I believe, in the amount of $100,000. There was another funding category for the community for arts, entertainment, leisure, and hospitality. Again, I apologize if I'm misquoting. I believe that was a funding category in the amount of $150,000. In addition, there was a category for improvement of outdoor recreational space, which included Stotsky Park and EPCAL. I can't remember the rest of the list, but
Well,
it's
in
there.
any case, I mean, there was not an accusation there, and I take your point entirely. I'm sure
We are well
that where
beyond the
money
5
is-
minutes here.
where money is specifically
Mr. McAuliffe,
appropriated.
That's,
Could I
that's the end of the
finish
5
sentence,
minutes.
Okay. When money is
Thank you. We're going to go to the
specifically-
next, we're going to go to the next
When money is
resident here.
specifically appropriated.
Anybody
I'm
else for
not
public comments?
doubting that you're using it properly. It's just a
Anyone
question of
else?
whether the
Anyone else for
overall
public
budget is
comments? You
effective.
want to come forward?
Come forward, Gwen.
Gwen?
I just ask you this question. How do you get, Gwen Mack, Riverhead resident. I want to know how you get a resolution on the agenda. I'm not going to be here long, so I don't know if I'll be here for the comments, because I have to pick up my son for work. So I just wanted to ask that one question.
All of us are legislators, and the resolution, depending on it is, I'm sure you have a contact. It also depends on the topic. If it's a CDA matter, you meet with the CDA. If it's a budget, it should always go through the supervisor, because the supervisor's in charge of the budget. And if you have if you're a community group, and let's say you work with Hubbard, you ask what you want to get accomplished. But to say you put something on the agenda, you're not a legislator, and
No,
some
I
things have to be
understand that. I just
looked
want
at
to know how
legally.
do you get,
Well,
who you have to talk to put it on the
Okay,
agenda?
then they speak to the supervisor, and I move it forward.
Okay, thank you so much.
But I don't move everything forward. So if you decide you want the town of Riverhead to have black light bulbs, I'm not moving that forward. 'Cause
No, I was
that
just
doesn't
wondering
make sense.
about the COVID relief that we was,
Okay, when it's ready, you have to see the CDA, because that's, all our grants are disposed, so you go to
Okay.
the appropriate department.
thank you so much for
Yep.
answering my question.
All right, Gwen, thank you. Be safe. Anyone else? And I just want to add one more on Mr. McCoy, and don't come up because your time is up, but we need to, there were many of employees at different levels that were promoted, okay? It wasn't all, the Riverhead local took the top salaries, but there were quite a few other employees that had to move up because then they needed the certifications. We had a tax cashier, an account clerk, a maintenance mechanic, an office assistant, 2 account clerks. And if you go through all the resolution, it would have been fair for you to say that there were other employees that, that did get raises. So the ones that were projected were the higher individuals because their pay raises are obviously going to consist of net more. So if you get a lot more of a salary, your raise is going to look more substantial. But that's the end what it is. I made my decision. I spoke to the board consistently. Tim Hubbard has been absolutely, and I just want to personally thank you. We've discussed this, the proper protocols, no retro pay, that's illegal. We've had people ask for that. You can't give a municipal employee a gift, which is a retro pay. People ask for substantial, and you know what, if they can get away with it, they can. But we did a good job, I think, in holding the line down, and even though there was raises, we did lower the taxes, and I just want to make it one last point. Some people haven't had raises in 3-4 years, and remember the last 2 years because of COVID. And so it was time to catch up, and even though we didn't fully catch up, and now we still have to work with other employees, even though we got to this point where we had to do what we had to do, we still lowered the taxes. And we're gonna put that to rest from now on, from this moment forward. And again, anyone from the public have any comments? Town board members, Ralph, did you want to comment on the?
I just have one question in terms of the first resolution that we're going to just vote on shortly, set salaries of elected officials for 2022. Didn't we vote on this and back in November? And I'm just uncertain towards why it's being put up again today. I was under the impression if we voted on November, then it wasn't really up for discussion. But I'll be straightforward that I think myself as an elected official, I'm considered a part-time worker, and so, but there are other elected officials that are full-time workers here in the town, which that means that, I have other sources of income. And so there, from what I understand, there are other elected officials in the assessor's office, town clerk's office, tax receiver's office that haven't received, raises in 5 years. And so I'd like to try to be an advocate for them at some point, for them to have their cost of living increase as well.
Well, it's great, and I totally agree, but there is a budgetary process, and it has to take place. The process is that department heads are given the cue to submit a budget. It's reviewed. We physically meet with department heads, and if the money is in place, or sometimes they have to shift some things around, and you've been part of this process, and it has to happen that way. You can't go council shop and say, I like you, and go get me a raise because I work here, and then you circumvent the budget. That is the process. That's the process that's practiced throughout all towns. And to say you're advocating for one person as opposed, that should be brought up by department heads. We have great department heads.
But this is for elected
So-
officials, so they don't get to advocate for themselves.
Yeah, well, elected officials should go to us and to indicate, and I know you're probably advocating for one or two specific person, but that should be brought up to the chief financial officer, and I agree with you. If they haven't gotten a raise in 4 or 5 years, you should definitely mention it. But I do know specifically of some of the, departments that have gotten, $20,000 raise within the last 5 years, so, did you want to add, Bill?
I just wanted to clarify, by law, we have to put in the budget. The tentative budget must include elected official salaries in order to make that a legal salary for the following year. So if in that budget, there's a higher or lower number, that's all we can pay without passing local law for the following year. So that's why you saw it twice, Councilman Rothwell, is because it had to be in November. And again, this is actually the resolution where you guys say, yes, we agree. You don't have to give them the money that's in there. You can't give them any more than that in this resolution.
I agree with what Ken's saying. I think his point is the elected officials have kind of been looked over and bypassed time after time after time. And I'm not advocating for myself because I do agree with what Ken said. We're part-time workers and we have other sources of income. But if it's your main source of income, you're an elected official, it shouldn't be held against you. And I think that's something we need to look at this year and do comparisons like we do with everything else and see where we fit in the town and compared to other towns and whatnot, and it needs to be looked at.
And there are other governments that actually have a resolution that does that automatically by what's called a CPI, Consumer Price Index, so you don't have to worry about what it is. If there's a 1% increase, that happens automatically. I am not suggesting that. I'm saying that happens in other governments. I know it happens in a county and maybe other towns that happens in, so maybe the board has to discuss that at some point, if that's what they're willing to do.
I wholeheartedly support that. I think we had spoken about that earlier, that
We did.
after this year, we need to look at that and have a more formalized process in place. And I totally agree with you. And we're only talking about how many public officials?
8 of them?
Probably, right?
3, 4, 5.
Other than this
Four,
board,
five,
maybe
six,
7?
Ten,
8?
8.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's an easy fix and we can get that done? Okay, thank you.
Just one other point I just wanted to mention, we were talking about department heads and elected officials. we realize that the backbone of the town are our CSEA and PBA workers.
Absolutely.
We said, we're not excluding you from anything or forgetting about you. We just have to do things in phases and steps.
Right.
And I think, we'll look at those units coming up this year to see what we can do to formulate into the budget and keep a
More evenly distributed.
evenly distributed, but
Yep.
to keep the budget within a lid, but still make the appropriate increases that we need to make. So we're certainly not forgetting about the workers.
And, as the need arises, they also get promoted throughout the year.
That's
You
correct.
know, if somebody leaves, so it's not like a hold, and this contract for the CSCA was usually negotiated. And it was already negotiated, how much you're getting every year, so, and we're gonna start that, I think, in 2023, or 2023, so we're gonna be working on that. Hi,
Hi.
how are you?
Laverne Tenenberg, assessor for the town of
Yes.
Riverhead. I just want to clarify something that you said, that we didn't go councilman shopping. When we had our budget meeting for our department, that the supervisor wasn't available, and we did make our request to the budget officers that were present. Bill Rothar, I believe Emily Toth, Lisa Richards, which is part of your office, so we did make those, raise those issues
Okay.
about what we do and the degree of difficulty and what we've been suffering with in the assessor's office with the incredible amount of work and the complexities and the legal liabilities of our department, different than other elected officials. So I just want to clarify the record that we did not go councilman shopping, that we did bring our concerns up about raises, and I just wanted to make the record straight. Thank you.
Okay. And yes, they were related to me, and you also negotiated the price. You wanted somebody who moved from one job to another, took a lower pay scale and a title, and wanted that person to go back to automatic scale that they left, and that can't happen. We can't start that practice, and I think you spoke to the individual, and she was very happy with the raise that she got. So we are working, with everyone. And so, yes, but if there was issues, those are the type of things the department head, you should come and see me in the office, Assessor Tenenberg. Thank you so much. I think this is it for the comment section, and we're going to now move on to
Resolutions.
resolutions. Devin?
Diana Paul.
Okay, Diane, can you move them all forward? I'm so used to her calling.
I certainly will. Resolution number 1.
Set salaries of elected officials for 2022. So moved.
Second?
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution number 2.
Set salaries of general town employees for the year 2022. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution number 3.
Set salaries of highway department for the year 2022. So moved. Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution number 4.
Set salaries of police officers for the year 2022. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution number 5.
Set salaries of sewer scavenger waste district for the year 2022. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution number 6.
Set salaries of street lighting district for the year 2022. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution number 7.
Set salaries of various boards for the year 2022. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution number 8.
Set salaries of water district employees for the year 2022. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution number 9.
Accepts resignation of Michael Zaleski as Deputy Highway Superintendent. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Just want to explain, he has to resign from his old post to take his newly elected post.
Yes.
When I first saw all these, I was like, well, these people are leaving us. But that's what it is, so the people out there know. Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution number 10.
Ratifies appointment of Deputy Highway Superintendent. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution number 11.
What's that?
Setting terms and conditions of employment for Deputy Highway Superintendent. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution number 12.
Reappoints town historian. So moved.
Vote, please.
Seconded?
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
What a great job she does, and I'm glad to reappoint her, and I'm glad she'll continue the job. Yes.
Hubbard.
I see a lot of these things on the Remembering Riverhead website about, and who remembers, blah, blah, blah. If you go to our town historian, or you go to Richard Wines, I know of two better people, I don't know of two better people that have the history right on the top of their head, and if they don't, they will find it for you. So I definitely vote yes. This case does a great job for us.
Aguirre.
Yes, absolutely. She's always in my office and finding things and sharing stories, and I had a nice tour not too long ago of the facility, and thank you for everything you do for so many years here. at
Wealth
this
of
town.
information.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 13.
Appoints a temporary office assistant to the town supervisor's office. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 14.
Approve salary increase for Deputy Tax Receiver Lisa Richards. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution number 15.
Approve salary increase for Town Attorney Kuzakevich. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 16.
Approved salary increase for chief accountant. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 17.
Approve salary increase for Community Development Administrator Thomas. So moved.
Sayrod?
Oh, second, I'm sorry.
Okay. Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Maybe one of the most important people in this town administration. Yes, absolutely.
Hubbard.
Yes, absolutely.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 18.
Oh, approve salary increase for Principal Accountant. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 19.
Approve salary increase for Deputy Town Attorney Howard. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Hubbard.
I abstain as Deputy Attorney Howard is my son-in-law, so I'm abstaining,
Aguirre.
or reclusing,
Yes.
I guess.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 20.
Approved salary increase for deputy town attorney McCormick. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 21.
Approve salary increase for Deputy Town Attorney Prudente. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Again, I'd like to say this is a very important person to our administration and to what we do here at the town board, and I overwhelmingly say yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes, I hope that now that's going on with the attorney's office, that everybody can work cohesively, and that's a substantial raise, and I'm sure she's gonna come up to the plate on that. Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 22.
Approve salary increase for Town Engineer Drew Dillingham. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Money well spent, yes.
Aguirre.
Yes, well deserved, Drew.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 23.
Authorizes stipend with town engineer. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 24.
Reassigns the salary of a tax cashier. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 25.
Reassigns the salary of an account clerk, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 26.
Reassigns the salary of a maintenance mechanic 1. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 27.
Reassigns the salary of a chief office assistant. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 28.
Reassigns the salary of an account clerk. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 29.
Reassigns the salary of the Assistant Community Development Supervisor, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Part of that hard-working group in there, yes.
Aguirre.
I never saw such a team working under those conditions. And everybody's so cohesive, pleasant, even under the stress doing, especially during COVID, they asked to come in on their own without getting compensated to move projects forward. So I commend them. I think this is a well reserved. And I hope you lived up to, continue living up to it. You're doing a great job. Okay. Okay.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 30.
Reassigns the salary of an assessment clerk. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 31.
Reassigns the salary of a recreation leader. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Again, very well deserved here. Jordan does a great job for us up at the rec department. Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 32.
Reassigns the salary of a recreation supervisor. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Same thing with Colleen Eastwood. Very hard working up there. They do a great job, yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 33.
Reassigns the salary of a principal office assistant. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 34.
Accepts Highway Superintendent's personnel report and requests for Town Board's resolution to promote an automotive equipment operator. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 35.
Accepts Highway Superintendent's personnel report and request for Town Board resolution to promote an automotive equipment operator. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 36.
Accepts highway superintendent's personnel report and request for town board resolution to promote a heavy equipment operator. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 37.
Accepts Highway Superintendent's personnel report and request for Town Board resolution to promote an automotive equipment operator. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 38.
Accepts Highway Superintendent's personnel report and request for Town Board resolution to promote a heavy equipment operator. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Ayrod.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 39.
Accepts Highway Superintendent's personnel report and request for Town Board resolution to promote a heavy equipment operator. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Ayrod.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 40.
Accepts Highway Superintendent's personnel report and request for Town Board resolution to promote an automotive equipment operator. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Ayrod.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 41.
Accepts Highway Superintendent's personnel report and request for the Town Board resolution to promote an automotive equipment operator. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Ayrod.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution number 42.
Accepts Highway Superintendent's personnel report and request for a Town Board resolution to promote an automotive equipment operator. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
There are a lot of automotive equipment operators. But I still vote yes.
Ayrod.
Yes.
Hubbard.
I just want to say that as a group, for all these, instead of individually, they are a hardworking crew up at the Highway Department. The ladies and men up there get stuck in the worst weather conditions possible, and they keep our roads clear in the snow, and they put asphalt down in the 95-degree heat. So I vote yes, and I'm very proud of our Highway Department.
Aguiar.
Yes, absolutely.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 43.
Building and Grounds Department budget transfer. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Ayrod.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 44.
Reappoints member to the Town of Riverhead Zoning Board of Appeals, Leroy Barnes. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Ayrod.
Leroy is an asset to the ZBA and a wealth of history and knowledge, and I say yes overwhelmingly.
Hubbard.
Yeah, exactly what Frank said, yes.
Aguiar.
Leroy, we look forward to you. I know you served us very well on the ZBA. Your knowledge is impressive. Your smile is infectious, as we see. He's always smiling. And thank you for staying on board.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 45.
Ratifies appointment of Joanne Waskey to serve as chairperson of the Planning Board of the Town of Riverhead. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Ayrod.
Again, such a wealth of knowledge, information, history. Couldn't be a better person for this spot. Yes.
Hubbard.
I agree with what Frank said, absolutely, yes.
Aguiar.
Yes, I've gotten to know her throughout the years, and her ethics are beyond reproach. She's smart. She's not scared to take a stance and follow through. I commend her ability to work with the community. She's well known in the community. She's a businesswoman. She has a business in the community, and I can't think of a better person to serve in this position.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 46.
Appoints official newspaper for the Town of Riverhead. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Ayrod.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes, and this year we added Dan's newspaper, which is readily available, and we welcome them on board, and we'll be sending you out press releases also. So welcome aboard, and all the other newspapers, and I vote yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 47.
Appoints bond counsel. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Ayrod.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 48.
Appoints financial advisor. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Ayrod.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 49.
Maintains policy of non-discrimination. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Ayrod.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
I would like to amend this resolution. It says here that the Yvette Aguilar, the supervisor, is going to be the person who coordinates efforts to comply with this requirement. In general, and usually in civil service and in public facilities, the person in charge with making sure discriminatory or sexual harassment training and anything along that nature is the personnel director. They know how to reach the individual, so I would like to be able to amend this to make it the personnel director. They're the ones that have all the records, the ability, and that is their job, to manage personnel and concerning training. It's not the supervisor's office who has to personally get involved and dictate training and keep databases. So I hope I have the support of the board to amend this to the personnel director.
I'll second your motion.
Yeah? Okay, Diane, can you,
Amend.
to amend, Diane, can you take a vote?
To vote all over again?
To
Yep,
get the vote first
Okay.
amended, right?
All right, to amend.
to amend.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes, to amend.
Hubbard,
Yes to amend.
Aguirre.
Yes, to amend.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 50.
Adopts 2022 living wage. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 51.
Adopts provisions of Executive Order 11.1 suspending the requirements of renewal application as a condition to granting exemptions under sections 459-C and 467 of the real property tax law. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 52.
Extends contract for implementation of insurance for 2020. So moved.
It should be 2022.
2022.
Oh, yeah,
it should say,
yeah, 2022.
All right, we're gonna have to amend that resolution?
Yes.
It has.
Okay, let's do an amendment. Okay,
Oh, okay. It should say 2022.
okay, so can we,
Make a motion to amend it to 2022.
do we have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, take the vote, Diane, please.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 53.
Adopts 2022 investment policy. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 54.
Pays bills. So
Oh,
moved.
wow.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Tim?
I am.
Oh,
Yep,
It's for home.
You have to vote
you have to vote that.
Say yes.
Say
oh,
yes.
yes, I'm sorry. I'm waiting for the next resolution that has to be added, but yes.
Resolution
So we have it?
adopted.
Okay.
Okay.
I have Resolution 50, we're going to call it number 55 here.
Okay.
I would like to bring up from the floor. I'd like to make a motion to reassign the salary of an account clerk. The reason this is being brought off the floor is it was inadvertently
Left out.
left out, and it should have been in with all the others. So I would like to make a motion to reassign the salary of an account clerk. So moved.
I second it.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes, and just so you know, in order to move something off the floor, you need 5 votes.
Yes.
And if one person's missing, you don't have your five votes. And I know there's been some confusion here. You need 5 to move it, and if one person's missing or 2, it does not come off the floor until you get your board. But now that we have the 5 votes, Diane, can you please take the vote on this resolution?
The resolution 55 is taken off the floor, so now we'll call resolution 55.
Reassigns the salary of an account clerk. So moved.
Second.
Okay. Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution 55 is adopted.
That's it. That concludes our resolutions for today. Do we have anyone from the public wanting to comment on any matter before we close the meeting?
And of course, just another friendly reminder that you'll have a 5-minute maximum time frame to make all your comments today.
You're back, Mr. McAuliffe.
I'm back, yeah, John McAuliffe, partially because there was a hanging piece from my last comment. I also want to, I've said this before, but I think the counting the response time against the time of the person asking the question is not a very helpful or necessary part of parliamentary procedure. I think you want to have dialogue and you want to not have the clock ticking against the questioner. And if you watch what happens in congressional committees, I think that the time is not taken from the person who is speaking. The 2 points I wanted to make, one is, in the last thing, what I was trying to say and was overridden was that I was not making any kind of accusation. I was just trying to figure out whether there was a total budget that affected our flexibility, and you certainly clarified that question. I appreciate that information. The point that actually brought me here today was the same that I sent you the letter about yesterday, which is the status of HK Ventures. And I would be interested in if you can update us. What I did send you, you may not have had a chance to look, was an article that actually appeared 5 months ago about a big fight between Eric Kislin, who is the principal of HK Ventures, who has been allegedly linked to the Russian mafia, and he was having a big fight with his partner on several projects. In the article, there's a reference to a Calverton project and the ownership changing, and I don't know whether that's HK Ventures. I've been trying to reach the reporter, but have not been able to. So one question is there some change in the status of the ownership of HK Ventures? And the second is, if you have had a chance or are familiar with the article, or after you have a chance to look at it, I would think that that article would raise serious questions about whether you really want Mr. Kislin and HK Ventures in Riverhead. So that's, it's a question if you've had a chance to look at it or know anything else about it, but if not, it's simply to raise it to your attention amongst your thousands of emails.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else? Okay, thank you, everyone. Moving forward, I'm going to now ask for a first and a second to close the town board meeting and open up the Community Development Agency meeting.
Motion to close?
Second.
Good.
Kern. Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Ayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
The town board meeting is closed and the CDA meeting is now open.
Okay, great. Okay, Dawn Thomas, she's with us. Good afternoon, Ms. Thomas. Can you please just give us a little bit of dialogue on the resolutions before you today?
Absolutely, and before I do that, I'd like to thank the board for supporting our office. It's humbling to hear your words, and we really appreciate it, and we will work harder than ever this year and make sure good things happen. So that's first. And second, we have 2 resolutions on today. As you just did your organizational meeting for the town board, this is the organizational meeting for the Community Development Agency. So we are appointing members to the agency, and then we're doing a resolution, the omnibus resolution, which is the second one in your packet. Basically readopts all of the policies and procedures that you've previously adopted in the past. We just refreshed all of that. And then the only other resolution is approving the minutes from the December 21st meeting.
Motion to approve.
Okay, so that's the first one, approving the minutes of the December 21 meeting of 2021.
Second.
Okay, Kern,
Oh, yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrat,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Okay, the minutes of the December 21 meeting of 2021 are approved. And then I think we would open it up to comments on resolutions in general. Anyone with a comment? I'll move it forward. Seeing no further comments, we would like the board to consider CDA Resolution Number 1 of 2022, which is appoints members and officers to the agency.
So moved.
Second.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Bayrat,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution Number 1 is adopted. Resolution Number 2 of 2022 is omnibus. Oh, you can read it. I'll let you guys read the title. Sorry.
Omnibus resolution relating to the requirements of the Public Authorities Accountability Act of 2005 and ratifying all prior committee charters and policies of the Community Development Agency. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Okay, the resolution is adopted, and now it would be comments on any matter relating to the CDA, if anyone's interested. Seeing no further comments, I think we can consider a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
The first meeting of the CDA is hereby closed. Thank you.
Okay, Happy New Year, Dawn.
Yeah, happy New Year.
Thanks again, Dawn.
Thank you.
Okay, I think that's it. Diane, you set? Everyone? All right, thank you, everyone. This is going to conclude our meeting. Can I have a first and a second to close the meeting?
We did
No.
already.
Didn't we have to close the,
Well, when we open the CDA,
We closed the town board meeting.
yeah, but then don't you close the CDA? Oh, no, that's right, you close it together. Yeah, okay, we're good.
Congratulations on your first
Yes.
board meeting in the
Yes,
books.
you did well.